I have never done a video on my channel on cheating, which is a topic that I get asked to make a video on a lot. There are many branches to this tree, so we're going to talk about a couple of them today. In case you missed it, my new video series, Navigating Engagement, is now available. I'm going to link it below if you just got engaged or you have a friend who got engaged. It's a great gift. We have a new button on the website, Gift This Series. It makes it really easy for you to gift it to a friend or get a couple of friends together to gift that. You can even give it as a wedding gift in advance to say, hey Katie, this is your wedding gift. I'm giving it to you now so you have a peaceful engagement. So check that out below just in case you missed it. Today we're talking about cheating. Big topic. I am not talking about cheating in marriage. I'm not going to cover that. That is something that if cheating happens in marriage, in your friend's marriage, that it should be brought to a counselor or to a therapist who can help that couple navigate that in their lives. I'm going to talk about cheating in dating because it's something that happens a lot and it's very painful. Betrayal is painful no matter what. If you've been through betrayal, it stings, it hurts when you trust someone, when you've opened your heart to someone, when you shared with someone so vulnerably and you really believe that they, are going to take care of your heart. When you realize that they haven't honored your vulnerability, your trust, it's extremely painful. And if you've been through being cheated on, you can talk about it in the comments below, share your experience, because I think it's important for people to share their experiences about this. But if you know that pain, it's a very specific pain, especially when you're in love with a person, to find out that that love was not reciprocated and that trust was not reciprocated in the same way. The first thing that's so important to remember when it comes to cheating is that cheating is a reflection of the person who cheats. It's a reflection on their lack of maturity, their lack of ability to communicate, their lack of ability to keep their word, to be a person of their word, and their lack of ability to, or their lack of choice to honor the person that they're dating. And I think many of the women who I talk to who are cheated on in a dating relationship, that question of what did I do wrong? How could I have prevented this? What could I have said? What could I have done? What could I have done differently? You go down that rabbit hole of all those questions. And I think it's so important to remember that this, being cheated on doesn't say anything about me, right? It says so much about the person who decides to do that. And many people will say well, what if one person wasn't putting in effort, or one person, wasn't doing this or that or whatever? The answer is never cheating. The answer is never cheating. And that's why it's a reflection on the person who, whatever the struggles, the obstacles, the hardships in the relationship may be, that person has the ability and the choice to end that relationship, to try to work through it, or to say, this is not the relationship for me right now, to get up the guts to do that. It takes maturity to end a relationship. Or if you find someone else that you want to date, right? And you don't want to date the person that you're dating anymore, instead of cheating and talking to that person, seeing that person, being physical with that person, you end your current relationship. Then you get to the question of forgiveness, right? Again, there are so many branches to this tree, but when cheating happens, the pain is there and it's very real. And that's not something that should be dismissed. It's a very real pain of betrayal, right? And then you get to decide how to proceed from there. If you're the person who's cheated on, you get to decide how to proceed from there. You might break up and you say, okay, well, we're just done. That's it. The person might apologize and come back and say, I made a huge mistake. This was a huge mistake and I want to be with you, right? This is a huge error. I want to be with you. I promise you this, etc. You get to decide how you're going to proceed. The person who is cheated on gets to decide, right, how it is going to proceed if that's the case, right? That person wants for you to forgive them and move on, and move forward. It is so important to remember. And I always want you to understand the power that you have in this, right? To forgive someone, right? Forgiving someone does not mean that you have to keep them as part of your life, right? And I think as women of faith, if you're a woman of faith, you get to that point of that question of, well, we're called to be merciful, right? But that does not mean you have to be merciful and continue to date that person. That's not the mercy to which we are called. You get to a place of forgiveness, and that might take a long time. It might take a really long time, and that's okay. If like the week after it happens or the month after it happens, you don't feel a lot of forgiveness in your heart, like that's okay. I think it's so important in looking at forgiveness to, if you're a woman of faith, to invite Christ into that. Christ, who is able to forgive even from the cross. Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. To invite Christ into that, to help you to forgive. I talk about this and I think in Go Bravely, forgiving others. It might take some time, and that's okay. Don't force yourself like, oh, I have to forgive immediately, or I have to feel like forgiving immediately. It's okay to take time to process. But you can say, I forgive you, and I don't want to continue. I don't want to get back together. Like, I don't want to do this, is perfectly okay. This is a personal choice. It's a personal choice. And Daniel and I talked about that in the ultimatums video. That was, I think it was the last video that we made on my channel here. The ultimatums video, that you personally in your dating life, right, get to decide what you're going to do. This man cheats on you, right? I know that I'm speaking to both women and men right now, but if this man cheats on you and he says, I'm sorry, I made a huge mistake, you get to say, I don't want to get back together with you, and that's the personal choice that I get to make. So many people in their dating relationships, I have known people who they were together and then one cheated on the other and they got back together, but then ultimately that person decided, I cannot marry someone who has cheated on me. Like, I just can't do it. And that's a personal choice. And it's not a reflection of your ability or inability to forgive. To say, this is not a judgment of this person. This is not me being unmerciful or me being unforgiving. This is me saying, I cannot deal with the repercussions of this, or I don't want to deal with the repercussions of this. I don't want to remain in a relationship, or I don't want to move forward toward marriage with a person who has betrayed my trust to this degree. Some people say, I forgive in this situation and I want to heal and move on forward with you. Personal choice. Personally, I can speak to my own life. I would never in my own life have married a man who cheated on me when we were dating. I would never have done it personally, because that's an ultimatum that I get to make, because I know for myself, if that was the case, I would have gone into marriage wondering and thinking and all of those things, because that's just the way I operate. And that's just the way I am. That would have been my own personal choice. It's a choice that's available to every single person who is in a dating relationship if that happens to them. The next branch to the tree is your ability to trust, right? Can be very severely damaged when you are cheated on. It's just hard to be ghosted, period, right? This person falls off the face of the planet. But when you're cheated on, like, your ability to trust, right? Our ability to trust when you've shared with someone, when you've been vulnerable with someone, when you believed what they said to you, I love you, you're the one for me, whatever it is, it can be so damaged. And you can feel like that question of, how will I ever trust anyone in a dating relationship again after what I have been through? That is also a process, and that takes time. I have a video on a lot of different things, but I have a video on fear of trust in dating and friendships that I'll link down below as well, where I talk about like rebuilding trust and how trust is not something that's microwavable, that it's something that takes time, and it's like a blooming flower. So you can go to that video. One of the other important things when you've been cheated on is that you have to come to a place where you are healed and well enough, and it can come up over time, right? Sometimes it doesn't like go away completely, but you're healed and well enough to enter into another dating relationship where you're not going to project that hurt that you have felt through that betrayal onto the guy that you're dating. Like, to enter into every relationship thinking, is he going to cheat on me? Is this going to happen again? Looking at his every move and just being like really affected by that experience, which is normal. Like, it's normal to be affected by that experience, but it's important to get to a place where I'm not thinking at every turn like, oh, what is this guy doing? When it's a completely separate person than the person who didn't honor you, didn't honor their word, and didn't have the maturity to break up with you instead of cheat on you. And it takes time to work through your feelings and to come to a place where you can look at the person that you're dating and say, this is not that person who betrayed me so badly. And I have to trust and believe again, like I have to work on that trust within myself to believe that not every person, if I choose to date again, is going to treat me like that, is going to do that with me. That's very difficult. Sometimes it involves a counselor or a therapist to work through what you've been through, what you've experienced, all the feelings that you have, so that person can help you like practically navigate that and practically not just deal with it, but move past it. To have that as an experience that you've been through in your life, but be able to move forward in a healthy way, in a triumphant way, in a way that is so good for your heart and your soul, so that that experience doesn't impact your life for the rest of your life. And that experience and the damage that it may have caused you, like, doesn't affect your relationships forever. Because like I said, that's very difficult to do, but the greatest gift that you can give yourself is to get the proper healing from that cheating so that it doesn't affect you for the rest of your life. It doesn't affect you in all or any subsequent relationships in dating that you may have. As always, I'd love to hear from you. I think it's really important for you guys to connect. So if you want to leave, if this has happened to you in your life and like things that helped you overcome it, you leave those in the comments below. I love seeing your comments and I love hearing from you. So I hope this is helpful for your heart. If this is something that you've been through, I hope and pray that you get the healing that your heart needs to move forward in a healthy, strong, and confident way, and mostly the way of peace, like that you can find peace after what you've been through. That's all for today. Thanks for being here. Subscribe to my channel for more videos, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.